Hi everyone, in this video we are going to learn how to create this text splitting animation inside Davinci Resolve. Before continuing, let me tell you one thing, you need to have the latest version of Davinci Resolve. So let's get started. So right now I'm in an edit page. Let's create a new fusion composition. Go to the media pool, right click, choose a new fusion composition. So the duration will be 4 seconds. I will use the name text split. Frame rate will be 24, that's fine. Click create, then click and drop the clip inside timeline. Select the clip, right click on it, choose option called open in fusion page. Now we are in fusion page. First let's create a text. While holding shift, press spacebar and it will bring a pop-up menu. Search for X text, select the X text, click on add. Next we need to create another node called X render. Holding shift, then pressing spacebar, the pop-up menu will come back. Search for X render, select the X render, click on add. Now connect the output of S render to the input of media out 1. As you can see in the viewer, nothing is showing up. Why? Because there is no text inside the text node. So let's type something inside it. Select the text node, go to the inspector panel, click on the text box and type something. You can type anything you want. I will type motion and let's choose a font for our text. I am going to use in Montserrat. Then I will change from bold to black and it will give us some nice looking text. Also do some adjustment in size. Perfect. Now let's see how we can split our text. For that, first we need is an X rectangle node. Hold shift and press spacebar. Search for X rectangle. Choose X rectangle. Click add. Next, we need an S boolean node. Use shift plus spacebar. Search for S boolean, select it and click on add. Select the X boolean. While holding shift, move the node to the connection between X text and X render. Now select the rectangle and do the adjustments like I am doing, and also move a little bit further to the top. We want the bottom of our rectangle to be at the center of our text. After making the adjustments, connect the output of X rectangle to the green input of S boolean. Now that is not enough. We want the bottom part of our text as well. Let's see how we can do that. For that, we have to duplicate two nodes. Just select the X rectangle and X boolean nodes while holding Ctrl and pressing C on your keyboard, and click in some empty space. Hold Ctrl and press V on your keyboard and it will duplicate those nodes. Now connect the output of text to the yellow input of S boolean that we just created. If we view this node in left viewer, you can see the result and it is not what we want. So select the S boolean, go to the inspector and change the operation from intersection to subtract. Now we have the bottom part of our text. Next we need to merge both the top and bottom part using S merge node. Let's see how we can do that. Use shift plus spacebar and then search for S merge. Select the S merge and click on add. Put the S merge in between S boolean and S render by holding shift on your keyboard. Connect the output of other S boolean to the input of S merge. Now if we see the result of S merge in viewer, you can see that it is really hard to find those cuts. Next we need to add two S transform nodes for moving parts of the text. So press the shift plus spacebar, search for S transform, select it and click on add. While holding the shift, connect the X transform in between boolean and S merge. Add another S transform again by using shift plus spacebar. Then connect the X transform in between the second boolean and merge by holding shift on your keyboard. As you can see, by changing the values of Y offset of transform nodes, we can move these parts separately. But for the animation we want, we are going to connect these two transformation nodes using an expression. Let's see how we can do that. Select the second transform node, go to the inspector panel, right click on Y offset, choose expression, then type -1 star, name of the first transform node. So here the name of the first transform node is S transform 1. So type S transform 1, then type dot capital Y capital O F F S C T. That's enough. Then click in some empty space. Here we go. Now when we adjust the values of Y offset of the first transform node, it will also affect the second transform node, but the movement will be in opposite direction. Now let's add an animation. Select the first transform node, move the playhead to around 10th frame, go to the inspector panel, add a keyframe to Y offset, then move the playhead to 20, change the value of Y offset like I do. Now let's play and see if it works or not. Now let's improve the animation a little further using spline panel. Open spline panel, choose S transform 1, then Y offset, and click on zoom to fit so that we can see all keyframes. Select all keyframes, then click on the smooth button. Also, we can adjust a little further by using the handles of keyframes. Now let's play it back to see how the animation looks like. And here we go. But we don't want our parts of the text to sit aside for the whole time. We want them to reconnect. Let's see how we can do that. Open the keyframes panel, expand S transform 1, select the white offset, click on the zoom to fit option, select all the keyframes, hold Ctrl, then press C on your keyboard. Move the playhead to around 50 and then click on the timeline while holding Ctrl, press V on the keyboard. Then press V again. That will reverse the keyframes. Now let's play the animation. Well, that looks good. Okay, now let's add another text. Use Shift plus spacebar, search for X text, select it and click on add. Select the S text, move it to the left viewer and go to the inspector panel. Let's type something in the text box. Font I will going to use as Montserrat, then semi-bold. I think that's fine. Let's add some adjustments to the size. Now let's connect the output of S text to the input of S merge to see how the text will look like in final animation. Let's disconnect the text from S merge. Next, we need to create mask for this text. Let's see how we can do that. Select the X rectangle, X boolean and S transform that makes the top part of motion text. You can use Ctrl key on your keyboard for selecting multiple nodes. Then press and hold Ctrl on your keyboard. Then press on C. Then move to the top. Click on some empty space. Use Ctrl Shift plus V to create instances. These instances are linked with original nodes, which means that if you add any changes to the original nodes, it will also affect instances as well. But what if we want to disconnect some properties from original nodes? Well, we can also do that. It is called de-instancing. Let me show you how to do it. Before that, let's move this transform node to in between X rectangle and X boolean. Press and hold Shift and then click and move the S transform to in between X rectangle and X boolean. Then connect the output of the X text to the input of X boolean. Let's see the output of S boolean in left viewer. Well, that is not what we want. Select the S boolean and go to the inspector panel, right click on operation, choose de-instance. This way that property will disconnect from the original node. Now we can change the operation, but it will not affect the original node. Okay, so let's change the operation from intersection to subtract. Then let's see how it affects our text. Okay, that looks good. Next, we need to create another instance of nodes that creates bottom part of motion text. Let's select the rectangle, S boolean and X transform while holding Ctrl, press C. Then move to the top, hold Ctrl and Shift, then press V. It will create instances just like before. Let's move this transform to in between X rectangle and X boolean. Then select the X boolean, go to the inspector panel, right click on operation, click on de-instance. Then connect the output of top X boolean to the input of S boolean we just created. Let's play the animation to see the results. Well, that not looks good. Select the S boolean we just created. Go to the inspector panel, change the operation from subtract to intersection. Then play the animation again. Here we go. We are almost finished our animation. Next, we need to connect the output of X boolean we just created to the input of S merge that we created before. Here we go. We have finished our animation. Next stage is we need to change the colors of our text. Let's see how we can do that. Select the S boolean of motion text and go to the inspector panel, open style page, click on the color box, choose the color that you want for your text, then click OK. Then right click on a boolean, click on copy. After that, select the second boolean of motion text, go to the inspector panel, open style page, right click on colors and choose the option paste color group settings. Here we go, but as you can see, it also affects the color of design text. So what we can do about it? It is pretty simple. Select the last boolean of design text, go to the inspector panel, open style, right click on colors and choose de-instance color group. Now you can change the color of design text without any worry. Well, that's it guys. After this we can add a background, then some grain effect, also motion blur, which can be found inside the settings of S-render. And guys, thanks for watching. See you soon with another video.